Hey guys, welcome to the Kirk Miller Podcast. Today's episode I have a very special guest, a good friend of mine who is in town here in Dubai, and we just said it'd be an absolute pity not to try and squeeze in a session together, which I've just kicked his ass, and we're just trying to squeeze in a podcast as well. But one of the intentions I've said previously when I brought guests on with the Kirk Miller Podcast is to bring on really interesting people, people who can add value in any way, shape or form, especially in the entrepreneur world, the business world. And the man who's on today's podcast, Mr. Shaqir Hussain, get his name right, Shaqir Hussain is a phenomenal entrepreneur. And someone I first come across it was Matt Wilson's event, wasn't it? The EMC in London. And there was a lot of speakers that day, all adding amazing value in different forms. But one of the key standout ones was definitely this man who's sat next to me today. I'll be honest, Shakir, I'd never heard of you. And then within a few minutes, I was just like, fuck me. This guy, one, has an inspirational story, very black and white, clearly knew your stuff in the marketing world, the business world. And then I think I came to you afterwards, after you spoke on stage, and we just sort of connected from there very quickly, really, didn't we? So, yeah, just give the guys a little bit of background about your story, and then we can
100%. So firstly, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I'm a big fan. My family, my friends are big fans of Kirk. Because Kirk is just an absolute stud. And so, I met you, and the reason why I was invited to speak at that event is I had generated over $30 million before the age of 30, which sounds incredible, which it is, and I'm very grateful for it. And I got started. So people see that, and they see me on stage, and they think, this guy must be very special, or he's got some secret talent, or whatever. But the reality is I actually grew up in a council flat, really poor, basically.
Whereabouts was that? Was it London?
East London.
Yeah, East London.
East London.
Okay.
You?
No, well, I was Coventry, but it was also a very similar background.
Yeah, East London.
Council estate.
Council flat. 13 people lived there. I'm pretty sure it was a 3-bedroom house. It was mad illegal, but we grew up with. I had 3 brothers, including me, 3 sisters. So there was like a lot of people in the family, and just from an early age, I developed the drive for business because for me it was important for me to have freedom. So for freedom, for some people is they want to have a 6-pack, and for some people it's traveling around the world. For me, it was like I just want to make lots of money. So that was
why was that? Was there a pivotal moment? Because I know obviously we're going to try and keep this podcast episode tight today. But was there a pivotal moment like during school, during teenage years?
During school, like I couldn't afford the nice Nike shoes. So we would buy cheap shoes. Always arguments in the house around money. Going to restaurants and then thinking, wow, this food is so expensive. I mean, I remember going to a shop called Pando's. It's the Asian version of Nando's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the food and the meal was so, like, it wasn't expensive. It was like maybe 6-7 pounds. And I was like, I can't afford this. And I walked out and I thought to myself, this is not normal because there's other people that can afford to have these meals. And so from an early age, I started asking myself, who has the results that I don't have, and how can I be around them? For me, that's the key. I think that's like the golden key, is like proximity is power, as Tony Robbins would say, right? So over those next 10 years, from the age of 20 to 30, I built multiple 7-8-figure businesses, spent time with Tony Robbins, Richard Branson.
Yeah, because that was another things that was fascinating. I remember you saying on stage, and I remember the image, you joked about the cost of obviously investing in Tony Robbins, but I mean that must have been gold as well, just to actually be around that. But I remember, you said you did one of his mentorship programs.
Yeah, I paid him like $50,000-$60,000. Spent 1 or 2 days with him. I spent like 600 grand, and the joke I made, which, it is what it is. I had like all these pictures of these white dudes, and I said, wow, I spent 600 grand on these white dudes. And they're, usually much older, right? 60, 70, 80 years old or whatever. And for me, it's simple. If someone has the results, pay any price to get that. Otherwise, what's the price of inaction, right? So like in my 20s, I did a lot of things right. I made money, I invested this and that and that. But then my health was not the best. And it kick-started after you inviting me to your...
But it was Built to Last London event. So obviously once me and Shakir connected, we stayed in contact after the marketing event we met each other at. And I invited Shakir to one of our Built to Last events in London, and one of your good pals, and that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, so it was basically, this is how, when someone has bad habits. Like for me and my friend, it was bad eating habits because we would always go out for desserts. So imagine like say 50 people, everyone's coming in, they're all doing their workouts. In the first 3 to 5 minutes, he's just out of breath as he's in the corner. He just sits down. And I'm like, yo, Kirk, he's going to see you. Like, get up. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I've got this. Literally 5 minutes later, I'm like, I need to run away. And I look at everyone. No one else was on the floor except for my friend and me. And I'm like, I can't have Kirk see me. And it was like one of those embarrassing moments, even if we're friends and stuff. It's like, I don't want to be embarrassed in front of my friend, you know? And I ran to the changing room and I just sat down. And for like 10 minutes, I think I was just like, you know, my head against the wall and stuff. And I was just like, yo, this is not good. I need to make some changes. And then 10 minutes later, I came and joined. Yeah. And so that was like, this is not good. Like both of us are, you know, 8-figure entrepreneurs. We have businesses, employees, blah, blah. Why are we the most, you know, not fit? And then you invited everyone and you paid for everyone's food, which was really generous of you. And during that meal, literally everyone just worked out. Everyone's ordering healthy food, and then there's 2 croissants, and me and him are the only one with croissants. And it was just like, and then we had that, you know, one of us, I can't remember who it was, but it was like, oh, it's here, so we might as well eat it. And so we ate it, and then we looked at everyone else. Not a single person ordered. Yeah. And I was like, yo, this is it. Like, we look at us, we're in our 30s, we need to make changes. And dude, that was like, for me, you know, you see, I hire coaches, nutritionists. Yeah. I've got 2 trainers here in Dubai. You know, I go extreme and over the top. But that's my obsessive nature when I want to commit to something, right? But the main trigger point was your event.
Yeah, so a great takeaway from that for anyone listening is, and look, there's no judgment on what Shakir's just said. If anything, I really admire that because everyone has different emotional thresholds, don't they? Emotional thresholds, whether it's to do with pain, to do with business, pain to do with body. But a lot of people don't act on them sometimes. It's okay, you know, having that wake-up call. But what would you say if you were to say, I don't know, three big reasons you feel that have really helped grow your business? Is there anything that, from building your business in terms of the preparation, the thought process, like you said, mirroring success, habits, whatever it is, that you've also translated over to your new health and fitness regime? Because I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners listening to this where maybe like yourself, Shakir, they've ticked the business box. They know they're always going to be, you know, in a safe position when it comes to, you know, money and freedom on that side for their family. But maybe their health, their body isn't where it's want to be, where it needs to be. What would you say you've implemented from a mindset and habit perspective from your business and entrepreneur success now to health and fitness that maybe people listening can take?
Yeah, so I'd say that probably the 3 big keys would be, one, like it sounds cheesy, but it is your mindset, right? Like, so for example, like when I'm with my trainer, sometimes my trainer, he has been training for like 15 years, my boxing trainer, my weight trainer, excuse me, and sometimes he'll say something like, oh, this workout is very hard. So, and as soon as he says that, in my mind, I always do this. I always say, no, it's hard for you, it's easy for me. Everything's easy for me. I make everything easy. And I've caught myself out doing that, right? So he'll show me a new exercise routine, right? Like some sort of stretch or whatever, like weight training. And then he'll say that. And then in my mind, I'm like, no, it's easy. I got this.
So you read
that, you know, that self-talk, that's what I find a lot of people don't have. They don't have positive, empowering self-talk because they're afraid of what people are going to judge, how they're going to see, how they're going to be seen, how they're going to be heard. And I think if you can quieten that little voice inside of your head and practice quieting that down, then you're not afraid of how you come across, what you look like, what you sound like. You know, you're going to be someone that takes massive action. So I think that's the
basic language, because as we know, and I know this is talk about a separate podcast about this, language shapes beliefs, it shapes how far you can or can't 100%. Go. And would you say that has also played a part in your business as well? Because if you've come from a council estate background like myself, and maybe a lot of people listening to this who are not where they want to be, or at some point they weren't where they weren't where they wanted to be, they've had to push through limiting beliefs at some point. So with obviously your business, obviously you've achieved enormous success, but when did you first have to have that conversation with yourself, maybe in your 20s? Like, when did you realise, like, or who maybe influenced you on that part, or what did you do?
I remember there was a guy called T. Harv Eker. Do you know T. Harv Eker?
Yes.
So I spent time with Tia Veka when I was like 21 years old. I was like dead broke, dude.
Yeah.
I just dropped out of university. Someone gives me a ticket and says, you can come to this event. It's £2,000, but you can come for free if you do admin work and you help the event staff. And I said, oh my gosh, I read the book, The Secret. This is it. It's supposed to be like that, right? And I was like, I go there and I remember him saying, you know, these are the emotions basically rich people, wealthy people live by, feel by, work from, right? So for example, if you're always in a state of guilt, shame, fear, inadequacy, like you're always hurt, you're always playing the victim, right? It's like, hey, I'm fat because, you know, my parents feed me too much. I literally met a grown man like 2 weeks ago and he said, oh, he's struggling to lose weight because he eats too much rice because when he's, and I looked at him and I thought, dude, you're in your like 30s, on your 40s soon.
And he's blaming
and you're blaming rice. Like, what the heck is wrong with you? I didn't say that to him, but in my mind, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, you need to man up, right? Like, you need to take responsibility. So I realized it's the same thing in the gym, right? Like, I lost like 20 pounds from seeing you from before, right? 20 pounds is about 9 kg. The self-talk I've had over the last, say, 6 to 7 months, when I was getting started in business, I had to reframe my self-talk. So, oh, I can't afford this too. How can I afford it? Okay. Oh, I don't know this too. Who can I bring on? Who knows the answer to this? So, for example, people will tell me they want to make £1 million. Okay. The 5 people around you, are they making £1 million? You know, do you have contact 2 people that are millionaires that can give you their time? Yes? Okay, get in touch with them. No? Okay, find a way to pay for it and be in that circle of influence.
Because you're going to mirror the standards, the behavior, the traits, the systems.
Yeah. Dude, right now, I'm not kidding when I say this. There's probably one person that's slightly overweight that's in my close circle, but he's going to the gym, so I'm not saying anything. Everyone else around me, because they've seen the transformation of my before and after, and they see me. I'm in the gym, I'm in Dubai, I've got 2 trainers, I've got you. Everyone's stepping up. So if you're not in a circle of people that are raising your game, that are pushing you every single day, it's not like, oh yeah, once a month I'm going to hang out with someone fit. No. I want to hang out with people that have 6-pack every day. Yeah. If I'm going to go see people, I want them to be fit. I want them to... Mikey's my video guy. I said, Mikey, you're not allowed to be around me if you're not strong. Get into the gym, start doing weights. He's like, but I haven't slept all night. I'm like, I don't care. And then I literally told my trainer, I said, the way you kill me, kill him. And he did. And then my trainer goes, he did 96%. I'm like, all right, not good enough. Anyway, right. So everyone around me, it has to be pushing, right? If you want to make money, okay.
But what you're saying is it's not just like ad hoc. It's got to be habitual that these people you're spending time with. You can't just go, I mean, you must have saw so many people over the years, Shakir, and I've seen it in fitness and health where people have done a course, they've showed up for a day. Oh, that's it. I've been part of this cult for a day, or part of this tribe, or these high performers, or these healthy people, and then they revert back to the standards of the environment
100%.
That created the problem in the first place.
And that's because they don't have. So again, like in my 20s, it's not like I didn't have a gym membership. Yeah. I had a gym membership. I would prepay. You know, I had all of these things, but I didn't have the right accountability. I didn't have the right goals. I didn't have the right mindset. I'd always think, oh, but you know what? There must be some sort of pill. I mean, I would come to Dubai for the last 10 years. I've been going, dude, I would go to the pharmacies and buy fat loss burning pills, extra metabolism pills, weight loss pills, all of those. And this was probably the first time in the last decade I've come to Dubai, and I was looking at it and I thought, wow, I don't need any of these things. Yeah. Just go to the gym.
Yeah, and how much as well, and I think this is so important, it's something I've said on previous podcasts, and I know this is a massive motivator for a lot of the clients we work with inside Built to Last. Like, in terms of staying, I hate the word motivated, but staying disciplined to train, eat, habit, you know, how much do you relate being fit, healthy, strong to business?
Well, I'm not there yet,
but you're in pursuit of it. And I always say this, listen, it's no different to you've achieved levels of business I haven't yet. I've got a body in that maybe you don't have yet, or maybe people listen to this. It's never actually about the end goal. There is no such thing because, like, I'm sure when you hit your first million or you hit your first business success, you know, you can easily fall backwards very quickly if you don't maintain it. But in order to pursue ongoing motivation with your health fitness, how much do you relate what you're doing now with this health and fitness regime to the success, further success of your business?
So just like what you said, like what would be the 3 keys? The first one would be self-talk and mindset. The second one would be consistency. And it's just like the gym, right? In my 20s, I realized, wow, I was never consistent because I'd always be traveling and then I'd fall off the cliff.
Okay.
So in business, one of the reasons why, all praise to God, one of the reasons why I had some success in business, and I still do even now, my brands, funnels.com, wealthacademy.com, these have become very big 8-figure brands, is because I've been consistently showing up. For example, I started building my email list, right? And I generated over 1 million subscribers, email subscribers. And I would email them every single day for like the last 8 years consistently. So it's like consistency wins all the time. For me, what I've seen is if you can, most people have it, right? So for example, I pray 5 times a day as a Muslim, right? So that discipline, I've had it all my life, right? So it's not that I don't have discipline. It's I didn't have discipline when it comes to eating and working out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So when I look at the last, say, 10 years, I'm like, okay, I've got discipline in my areas of prayer. I've got discipline in my areas of business. How can I take that discipline and now put it into the area of fitness? First one, I don't like going to the gym. Of course, in the beginning, when you're really fat, like I was close to, I can't remember how much, like 94, 95 kg. Now I'm around 80 something, 85. So when I first, you don't like it. So that means do the hard things that you don't want to do. So I would train myself, hey, just go to the gym. And my trainer said to me, I remember, he said, when you come in, if you feel overwhelmed, I said, man, I feel overwhelmed because I compare myself to that one guy that's got a 6-pack. And he's like, no, what you need to do is just fall in love with one machine. And I was like, what is it? And he said, try boxing. And that was it. So I would go to the gym every day thinking, I am just going to box, nothing else. I was so hesitant to even lift any weights. I remember first time I lift one of those, the chest press. Dude, the bar, I was like this. But then through consistency, through practice, I got better and better and better. And I think that consistency, you have it in your life somewhere.
Yes.
Even if it's
100%.
eating bad food, you consistently eat bad food. You get it?
Yeah.
And then adding on accountability. So for example, me and my wife have a deal, which is I'm not allowed to have desserts or I pay her £100 fine.
So you create leverage, you create emotional leverage.
I create
leverage. It's something you don't want to do.
And I'll tell you, because I for about 2 weeks I didn't touch a dessert. And then one night I go out and I'm thinking I'm so smart. I find frozen yogurt. So I'm like, that's obviously not this dessert. So I get that and then I have a boba tea and I'm like, it's just a tea. So when I went home, I said, I had these 2 things, but I also ordered all the toppings and extra sugary chocolate. And she goes, those are desserts. You owe me £200. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll wire it. She goes, no. It's in your pocket. Give it to me in cash. And I pulled out a wad and I counted it. And I was thinking to myself, no dessert is worth £200. I've been here in Dubai, dude, not a single dessert. Because my friends, I like to surprise my friends with cakes and stuff. So I had a fresh cake made.
You didn't touch it?
I didn't touch it, dude. Everyone had it. I didn't touch it.
How good does it feel, though? Because, again, I want this to relate to the people listening.
I just think to myself, Kirk would be so impressed with me.
You know, one of the great questions that I said, and because you can, for anyone listening to this, there are some people maybe not where they want to be in body, and there's some people maybe not where they want to be in business, but I know one of the things, and I know you were really powerful with this on stage, Shakir, and for me, it's what a lot of high performers do is they ask themselves better questions. And one question that I ask myself sometimes, if you don't want to do the hard yards while you're trying to build your business, and we've also preached this question to people in our Built to Last program in terms of body, what would someone 10 times more successful than me do? It's the same on health and fitness. When you are deciding whether to train or not, or eat the healthy food or not, skip the dessert or not, say no to that alcohol, ask yourself, what would someone 10 times fitter, leaner, stronger, more confident do, choose, or say in that situation? And
100%. Sometimes I have that voice of you in the back of my mind, and I think to myself, oh, what would Kirk do here?
No, that's what you got to do. Just I know, because we want to keep this tight today, Shakir. What would you say your biggest lessons were, for any business owners, entrepreneur listening to this? Because even though I want this health, fitness mindset, for me, I just want to pack as much value with the relevant people when they're on this show. What would you say, knowing what you know about business, for example, you would just make this about business, your biggest lessons that you think, if knowing what you know now, what would you have done earlier or stopped doing, or what were your biggest lessons?
So mine is obviously a little bit more different than most people, because sometimes people in their 30s and 40s and 50s realize that they need to stop caring about other people. Okay. I was very blessed. I was selling in the streets of Sunday Market in Brick Lane, dude. I was 15 years old. I could not care less how many people said no to me. You know what I mean? So I was selling and getting rejected and hearing the word no, 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 non-stop since I was a kid. So I'm okay if lots of people say no to me because I only need one person to come here and check, you know, for 100 grand for one of my products, right? I'm good. So in that sense, I would say probably the number one skill to learn, whether it's in business marketing, is sales, without a doubt. Like you have to be able to sell yourself, your products, your services. And I believe in my stuff. You should believe in your stuff too. You believe in your stuff. You should have high ticket programs that, you know, whatever they range from. Ask yourself, who are the people that charge the most in your industry? Because you have 10, 25 years of being fit, ripped.
To solve a problem.
The
right? People have maybe spent
of
years
course.
going on
and
shitty
the right person. Like for example, you live in this really fancy apartment in this building. It's basically filled with high net worth people, right? And you live here. Like think about, they have problems. How much would they be willing to spend to get rid of that problem? I don't know if you noticed. I mean, I'm still sweating from the workout that we did with Kirk. And I said, man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how my hair is. We're still gonna do this. But how many people downstairs that you saw out of shape? I saw them because they weren't looking at me, they were looking at you, training me. And I thought, wow, that's a potential client, that's a potential client, that's a potential client for Kirk, right? Like these people that live here, they could afford to pay you a premium to get into shape. So you have to ask yourself, and people listening, is who has a problem that you can solve for a profit? That's all entrepreneurship is. If you don't make enough money in your business, that means you don't solve problems for people. If you now think to yourself...
You're actually doing yourself a disservice.
Of course, if you now think to yourself, I need to go and solve more problems for more people, right? The more problems that you solve, the more money that you're going to make. So ask yourself, this is a question that I asked myself, because in the beginning, I wanted to make lots of money, right? Like with everyone in business. But then the shift happened when a coach, I'd invested like 20 grand, and he said to me, you need to become a leader. And I thought to myself, dude, I live in East London. I don't care about leadership. Like, why are you telling me to become a leader? And he said, only leaders make money. And I said, okay, I'll be a leader. And he said, leaders make money by solving other people's problems. So you want to make money, you have to ask yourself, how can you solve more problems? And then what's the system, what's the funnel, what's the process that you can use to attract those people to come to you? Attract lots of them, qualify them through different funnels, different processes, different content, and then get them to apply with you, to work with you, to get them to buy your supplements, your weight loss products, your business, your make money, whatever the case is. And once you understand that, it's like traffic is people, conversions is essentially how people convert from a stranger into a customer, and that's your money. And if you can focus on adding value to other people and then finding ways to leverage it, value multiplied by leverage, that equals wealth. And power of wealth is you're solving people's problems, and money is a byproduct of that. And once I understood this, and I got it, all praise to God, I got it at 15, 16 years old, I never had to get a job. I've never had a real job, actually.
Just that simple formula of how can I solve problems?
How can I
be
solve
really,
problems?
really good at solving that problem. Be the commodity, be the main man in that field, and
position myself with authority, with credibility, you know, with realize, okay, people in my industry, they like Tony Robbins and Richard Branson and Grant Cardone and Russell Brunson. Okay, let me go and spend time with these people.
But not only that, not just spend time, and that's where, as much as like Shakir's just saying there, and that's why I make no apologies for, I'm not a budget trainer because I've paid my dues. I've also spent thousands on mentorship, on traveling. You've done the same. Course, I mean, if you were to accumulate probably how much you spent on mentors and programs and courses and planes, I mean, you're talking millions.
I mean, just in buying coaching and programs, over 700 grand. I mean, like excluding everything else. And Mike has been with me. I say he's got the luckiest job in the world because he goes to all the finest restaurants and all the finest countries in the world. And he's been doing that for the last 5-6 years. But I would literally, I mean, I paid Russell Brunson, just to kind of share this with you, I paid Russell Brunson $25,000. I found out I couldn't attend his mastermind, so I got a 1-hour call with him. But in the 1-hour call, he literally said, I said, hey, I've got $400K to invest to basically buy myself a New York Times bestseller. I was like, young. He said, why do you want to do that? I said, oh, you know, I want to help people. He said, no, you want to do it for your ego and to impress your friends and family. And I was like, wow, how do you know? And then he goes, because I did that. And it's not worth it. So save the 400 grand. And I'm like, I remember putting the phone down. I thought, wow, that was 25 grand well spent. So also how you just said, like, what's that key quality of what I've seen is once you understand basics of sales and marketing, then it's just about speed of implementation. How fast do you learn something, and then how fast can you execute? 1 hour ago, you just taught me some mobility stuff that I've never seen in the gym. And I'm like, I can't wait to go and practice in my gym, right? So that mindset of speed of implementation. They found out, some university study or whatever, it was like 250,000 people that they interviewed, I think. Or a bunch of people that make more than 250 grand a year. So that puts you in the top 1%. And basically said, what's the one key ingredient? Speed of implementation. That was it. It's basically how fast does somebody learn something, and then boom, how fast do they implement it?
I mean, because we live in a world now with so much, resources, and let alone like the paid stuff, and it's no different to health and fitness. Really, it's like even my free content, Shakir. Anyone listening to this is free. I want to provide as much value as possible. On YouTube, there are shitloads of workouts on there that people, if they listened to my free stuff on social media, YouTube, same with your stuff, you could. I know they could build a great body, but obviously people need accountability and structure, which our clients get, of course, and we love delivering on that. But whether you've got a paid relationship or free stuff, a lot of people talk about what they're going to do instead of just following through. So I know we're extremely pressed for time now, because I know you've got to shoot for another meeting. But what would you say to any just as a final sort of takeaway message to anyone who isn't quite where they want to be personally, professionally, physically? What would you say? Just
when I spent $50,000-$60,000 with Tony Robbins, right? So I've been spending tons of money, but then one day I went to Amsterdam, came and checked for like 50-60K on the Amex. It wasn't a check; it was a card payment. And I remember him very specifically saying, the reason why you get stuck is because you don't create a compelling future. So it doesn't matter, because dreaming is free, dude. Right? Like, it doesn't matter if you don't have $1 million in the bank account, 100 grand, even £100 in your bank account. If you create a compelling future, one that excites you, you are going to wake up to do things differently. And for what I've seen, and I obviously coach entrepreneurs, startup entrepreneurs, and experienced business owners, that's the one thing that I found. The ones that are going after it, dude, they have such a compelling vision. They ain't got no time to waste. All the time to waste is drowned out, right? Like, for me, I don't measure my months and weeks and years. It's like days and hours. And that's actually something I think I learned from T. Averka. Like, millionaires manage their hours, their minutes, and their days.
It's that precious.
It's that precious, right? Like, when I was waiting downstairs because you were doing a Zoom meeting, I'm like, dang, I got 10 minutes. Okay, boom. I'm going to write an email, shot 2 videos. Like, whilst in the lobby, in your building.
No, I get it, Shakir. It's no different to when people say they don't have time to get some steps in, or they don't get time to get a session in, but work back the time maybe you've spent on emails, WhatsApp, scrolling, just low value shit that isn't moving you forward to that compelling future. It's staggering.
And it's just the excuses that people say to hold themselves back. So if you can identify and sometimes even write out the excuses, I have a student of mine right now. He drives the Uber, and he's always in the Uber, but he says to me, man, I listen to your podcast and all these podcasts and, different types of guys and people that he listens to. And I'm like, dude, in 6 months or 12 months time, you're going to be a different person. And that's what it is. The results that you have right now is only a direct reflection of the decisions and thoughts that you've had over the last 6 months, 6 years. So if you change them now, the next 3 months, 6 months, 6 years gets to change.
Amazing. Guys, we're going to have to wrap this up now because I know it's got a meeting. But where can people find you, Shakir?
I'm easy. Funnels.com and Instagram, Shaqir Hussain. Links, Kirk can stick him in there. Other than that, guys, appreciate your time. Thank you very much. I hope you guys got some value out of it. And definitely follow this man.
We'll do that again, 100%. 100%. Thank you so much for your time. And guys, as always, feel free to drop either of us a comment if you have any questions. I know Shakir is very open on his social media channels, and I really appreciate your time. And guys, we'll see you next time.